We fumble them on a good evening. I hope say any side on a fan on a self na the world. I hope say on they do well. I hope say on they protect on self. I hope say on they take all the necessary precautions them on a need for take. And we pray say God go cover we, God go continue for watch over we. Well, today again, we don't kind of so for can talk Salone issues. But today, una know say sometimes after we can go heavy na the politics, it's good to take a break. It's good to reflect. You know, we all know the things them were wrong, but sometimes it's also good to take a break to talk about the things that are going right. And every now and then, when I know for say I can like for take that break day. After we don't go inside, I think a good 2 months solid, non-stop, 2.5 months, you know, of politics, high tension, high conversation. How about we meet the people them where they make sure say, if not for anything, then they make sure say Sierra Leone still has a legacy, that there will be a legacy. They don't mix on the political talk, they don't mix on the political banter. All waiting they want for do is for see Sierra Leone succeed in any form, way then see say then go able contribute. For make sure say the green, white, and blue, the daughters and sons of the soils of the soil of the green, white, and blue then reach their full potential. Regardless of their condition, regardless of their physical appearance, regardless of what in society don't say about them. Well, today, for right now, we get 2 such people them now we miss. One, we're not a stranger to people then have viewers, because I've been on getting on this platform a couple of times to talk about different projects them or different ventures them. One way new to this platform now in first and this way it is salutes this platform, but he is not new to the happenings of Sierra Leone. Neither is he new to waiting they go on at the ground. But as them they go on, we hope say some other people and will join with. But if they're not able to join with, because them people and they mainly in a Salone, then they join with from, and we know the situation, we know the light situation. We don't see the complaint them, we don't hear how people go for 2-3 weeks now without light. So if they're not able to join we, make we left Ake give them, and make we say we go bring them come back another term for make them can talk about the good work with them they do. So I don't go waste much time. I go take small time, make an introduction to me family then today. We sit down I also with me right now. I will begin with Dr. Prince Isibul. Dr. Prince Isibul, tell family
Well, good evening, everyone. Prince Isibul from North Carolina. I am the CEO and founder of Hope for Youth on Melqosh.
And then I go move on to Pastor Faith Okafor-Smart. Pastor Faith Okafor-Smart, tell family you are on mute.
Great, sorry. Good evening, everybody. My name is, of course, I've been introduced. Pastor Faith Okafor-Smart, sending you warm greetings from United Kingdom. It's actually 12 a.m. here, but the show must go on. And Mina, the vision carrier of Melqosh Mission International. Thank you for having me on your platform, Matilda.
Thank you very much. So, as we all know, Salone, they celebrate 60 years of independence. So during the 60 year of independence, anybody will grace this platform, will grace the show, Salone Talk Show, even before we sit down inside, waiting we get for talk about. I get two questions then where I can ask them. The first question now, what are your fondest memory of Sierra Leone and what thing you go on for see happen na Salone, even as we're inside the 60 years of independence? Pastor Okafor Smart, go ahead.
Actually, you just make her reminisce. My fondest memories, now when we go Salone in the late 70s, early 80s, and for me, because at that time that we go, when OAU go Natong, maybe that I had a you born, so you're not gonna know that. But I remember them they sing OAU don't come na Salone, and we had a lot of people that were being come na Salone, and at that point in time, many Sierra Leoneans been say this was a time for make Sierra Leone will be put in the map of the world, for make we able for host such a distinguished program. Although later on, I get to understand the cost where we involved, we actually have a negative downpour. But for me, that was my earliest memory of being proud of Sierra Leone. And just growing up, in Sierra Leone, actually spent close to about 10 years in Atong, and that means 10 years in Salone was really, it influenced the faith that I am today because, Salone na we home, and we want to make we see the Sierra Leone where we left. I remember by the time I go Salone in 2001, after I left Salone for over 10 years during the war, and I could not believe the Sierra Leone that I was seeing, and my heart was devastated. And so that is what has been spurring me more than ever. Say we not only just want wait till we can get the glory of the past glory, but even a much better Sierra Leone. And that is what we all work towards by God in power.
Okay, I'll go if the question directly to Dr. Bull. Waiting at the Sierra Leone, what do you miss about Sierra Leone, and whose Salone you go on for see?
Well, thank you very much, and thank you, Pastor, for that piece. The OU was a memorable time in Sierra Leone, but for me, my fondest period, my years in Fabric College. Growing up, it was my dream to go to the ivory tower of education in Sierra Leone, and fortunate enough to get that chance. And the years I spent at Fabric College, they were wonderful, wonderful years. And will mold me to be the person I am today. And as an educator, looking back, that is missing. We see the gap in education, and we see the struggles going on. I remember having 3 meals a day at Fabric College. I remember having fun times with social, cultural, political activities. I remember having great professors now at Fabric College, and I think we've lost a lot of that. And I remember not being too crowded. We each get our own rooms and everything, and it was just wonderful. We'll get water, we'll get electricity, and life was just great. It was beautiful. And that is gone. And my hope is for us to go beyond those years and to resurrect it, to make it a better place.
Okay, resurrect, make it a better place. And then OAU, and then Fabric College, say if you want to reach the apex of education inside Salone. So, going to Fabric College was it for him. And the moment he entered Fabric College, he knew he had made it. So that's all good, and I believe say a lot of people may get our dreams day, a lot of people may get our hopes day, but unfortunately, even as we see a couple of days ago, or was it yesterday, with the student election, just a simple student election, electing a president of the student association turned into something else, wearing, tear gas, was, being fired or shot everywhere, people in the run, kuskas happen, things that where we they take for granted within some of the institutions, then where we go, Nayaso, you know, for whole simple thing then like that, it don't turn political, it don't turn into violence, it don't turn into a lot of different things then. But we continue for hope, we continue not for give up hope, and we continue for do whatever we can in our own way to get things right. So I want to know inside hope for youth Sierra Leone. Dr. Bull, what's in a hope for youth Sierra Leone?
Thank you for asking the question. And as I was listening to you, you use hope 4 times prior to asking the question, hope. It's simply, as somebody within the out of the country for over 35 years, I look back at my experiences in my life, and the Sierra Leone where the Yayibot and but the youths them, it's disheartening. And every time they talk about the youths, it's all about violence. It's all about prostitution. It's all about drugs. It's all about the negatives of life. And I was one who was in the political sphere complaining and becoming a chief complainer. But then I realized I just got this vision one day to say, if I'm fortunate to come to the US, where would I be? Where would my kids be? And that truly moved me to think about how I could make things happen. And I realized to affect change, you have to be part of the change. And as John F. Kennedy stated in his inaugural speech, says, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. And so I looked at what I call hopelessness of the youths, the hopelessness of drugs, unemployment, prostitution, homelessness, violence, dependency on people, illiteracy, economic inequality, poverty, tribalism, and all of these things. And I said we need to shift it to the hope of opportunities, possibilities, enterprise, education, empathy, unity across tribes, and all of that stuff. So I moved to pull a group of like-minded people and said, could we affect change? And let's forget about politics. For 60 years, every political system don't fail Sierra Leone and fail the youths. And we continue to fail them. And if we want to make a difference, we need to empower the youths. And so we started Hope for Youth and just giving the youths them hope to move away from drugs, prostitution, and dependence on the government, because there is no way the government could solve the problems of the youths and employ them. It's we Sierra Leoneans, those who are educated, those who are fortunate, those who are patriotic, to come together and say, if we each touch one youth, we could make a difference. And Hope for Youth don't do that. We don't touch a lot of youths, and we are making a difference. It's still a drop in the ocean, but for those of us who are part of it, we know we are on a journey to a promised land. And we know the youths that we're empowering do believe in this hope, and they would get to the destination. We may not see it. I always tell them, we are the Moses, we'll never get to the promised land. You guys are the Joshuas. Keep going, you'll get there.
I see Pastor Faith, they smile. Because now a word than the way it frequently used. We are the Moses, and you all are the Joshuas. I mean, picking up from that, Pastor Faith, I want to make you reintroduce for some people that we don't know how the idea of Melqosh was birthed.
Well, okay, I mentioned, say, I go to Sierra Leone in 2001, just towards the ending of the war. And I go for family reasons. My dad had been attacked during the war. And so when I go Salone, I see the human destruction, I see the societal destruction, but most importantly, I see the national destruction, all the things that happen at the country. And I literally felt like I was in another country called Sierra Leone, not the Sierra Leone I knew. And so I decided that I not just want to go on holidays, like how people can go enjoy and come back. I actually want to be part of the change in a non-political mode. And so for me, that was where the seed was planted, the conception of the idea. Of course, that is where the passion started. But then in 2004, I had a word from the Lord where he talked to me in the book of Micah, and in that day I will gather the lame, those that are afflicted, and I'll make them a strong nation. And I ran with that for 4 years, pray, because I just didn't know exactly what it was. It took me 4 years to fully understand the vision. And in 2008, I took a leap of faith, took a bank loan, and went to Sierra Leone, did a feasibility study, and started the mission. And for the one we don't know what Melqosh mission is about, we work with victims of the war, i.e. War amputees that where they war rebel and cut their hand, some then cut them to foot or to hand, some are one hand, some are long sleeve, short sleeve. We also work with, and some of the amputees that actually were amputated as young as 2 months old. So we get the young, we get the old, we get the middle age whose limbs were cut off. And then we also work with war rape victims, women who were gang raped, gang sodomized, assaulted, and some were actually some of them then cut their limbs them also after the rape assault. We also get war wounded people, then butcher them, but they're not able to sever their limbs. So you go see some of them actually that they foot them. So they have a disability, but they're not amputees. And then we get the war widows there with their husband and kill them during the war. And we have war orphans, and then we have children of war amputees. And so over the last 13 years, we have worked with them in the area of health. We don't do a series of multiple medical missions since 2012. And then we also don't do educational missions from 2008. And as at this year, we actually don't reach over 1,000 children in one academic year. We mission don't go nationwide in the area of health. We don't do nationwide medical missions where we actually don't do diagnostics of various types of medical ailments. We also don't help. We also don't do. This year we actually did a historic mission where we provide free dental care for the first time for war victims since the war ended in Sierra Leone.
We go get to that point there. I've been just trying to make people then understand how this mission come about. Waiting bring about that. What was the thirst? What was the hunger? Waiting make waiting push you over, like then you say, put you over the edge or push you over the cliff for make you say, if I die, I die. I don't care, but this is something I have to do. So I make a go to, and people please share, invite people. I know for say if na politics have been the talk, una 200-300 been for not sit down here by now. Like we've been the years, we've been for the ready for the hit the 500 margin, but because today not to politics are the talk, una can just una can spy say this one not a hot topic, but this is the hottest topic. Let me tell you people. All the other political talk, the work in the talk, this, that, the interview, guest them, bring people and can talk about politics, interview them about their political life. That is not important. That is secondary. What is actually important, and when I do this series, this builders series, meet the builders of Sierra Leone. Now that 10 day on a 1,000 for camp. Because you need to hear these stories. You need to know what's going on. And I need to understand what's in the going on the country, aside of the distraction of the everyday political banter, aside of the distraction of the everyday, mess up where they happen at the country, the propaganda and whatnot. These are actual stories. These are true stories. These are not fabrication. This one also not to forgo buy vote. This one also not to for make you can't join political party. This one also not seen the way, when I can say you lay down in your bed, you're not able to sleep in a net for days, you de ton, because it is time for you to do something outside of that. Outside of the propaganda, outside of the lies, outside of the disappointment, but bring true hope, bring true skills, bring true, development within the community, within the nation, within the individual. So yes, I can let for break, like I can say one time, and make me forget about the other side. Maybe we talk about the real thing. So today we are talking about the real thing. I expect say by the time what they done, una go don't can tell him na yaso, or una go begin tell him even as I talk right now. Because I know. I should say some man in the way to make I can't talk about Diana Konomani or the this or the no, that's not what we're talking about today. Today we are talking about what matters. And what matters now that person where, sit down one day and say, what can I do outside of complaining? What can I do to effect change? We don't get nothing for do with politics. We don't get nothing for do with propaganda. We don't get nothing for do with lies. But when you go, you see them, you can actually see tangible evidence of waiting with the talk about. Dr. Bull, how long hope for youth? Where this thing can say, there is a bun in the oven. It takes a while to bake. How long this thing been on the stew inside you? Before you finally say, I bring and can now do, I have to take the bull by the horn. I have to do this. And how long this organization don't they in existence?
Well, it's a very good question. I think, as a child, I think I've been placed in life to understand the political social structure of Sierra Leone. In the 60s, I attended the Regent Square Municipal School. In 1965 is when I started. And for those of the older ones who know, the SLPP office in the Battle Street, which is the same street on Regent Square, the APC office in the one street away, Percival Street Junction, Liverpool Street. Now, if you listen to the history and read the history of Sierra Leone, as a child, I watched how youths were used in the political system, killed and all of that stuff. And in the 60s, I was at Regent Square when that coup, the 67 happened. And so fast track, at the grammar school, I was part of no school, no college. I watched that happen and the demise of that, and then going through to Fabric College, I watched all of those things. And then I continued to watch the deterioration of all of those things. And I joined a lot of organizations to try to see how I could affect change. But most of the organizations in the diaspora is more talk than action. Mm-hmm. And they don't want to put the money where the mouth is, because they distrust the system. Oh, everybody go eat the money, the youths are not to better people, and all of that stuff. So I just got up and called a few people. I said, you know what, enough is enough. I said, if I'm in the group in Salone as a youth right now, I would have been a prepared youth. I would be okay. And I would look for somebody to come help me. So I believe, say, in Sierra Leone, there are still lots of Sierra Leoneans, lots of youths who are looking forward to people to come help them to understand exactly what needs to happen. So we decided to do this. And people look at me and said, you know, you are out of your mind. You are not in Sierra Leone. How are you going to do this? And I said, my faith and the vision neither lead me on this. And I believe that we would find great youths in Sierra Leone. So about this time last year, exactly June 14th, I called the first meeting. And it was a Zoom meeting. I invited lots of friends to come listen. People thought it was political announcement, a political movement, and it is not. It's non-political, and probably that's the key for the success. But in less than a year, would be a year on June 14, 2021, we have 25 chapters across the globe, over 1,000 plus youths in Sierra Leone with a latch on, several successful projects from Cambia to Kono to Moyamba to Bond, which I will talk about, and all of Western area, right up to the heartland of Kanike, where people think you cannot penetrate. We get a successful chapter there, and it has worked well. And we've tapped into different sectors in Sierra Leone, the music industry being one. Right now, there are like 4 songs about hope for youth. We don't tap into anti-gender-based violence. We're getting ready to do a big show in Moyamba next Saturday, June 12th, and the youths are running everything. We have agricultural projects in 4 districts with acres of lands. People are donating lands to the youths. And it's a simple proposition. We told them, this is all for you. We don't want a penny back. We invested close to 150 to 200 million leones, about $20,000 in Sierra Leone. And we just tell them, if you turn it over, the profit is yours. We do not want anything back. And we have people who have latched on, sponsors and donors, and we keep getting money to sponsor the youth. So it's only been less than a year. So if you give me another 10 days, I would say it's a year, but it is less than a year. So thank you.
Indeed, in another 10 days, yes, indeed, Hope for Youth will be a year strong. And make I go to Pastor Faith. Pastor Faith, we see what happened during the COVID. I want to make you tell people then small waiting Melqosh be able to do during COVID, just during the COVID.
Well, okay, during the COVID, we realized...
This not mean for semi-family, because what I said during the COVID, I know say some man will come back and say, but COVID not done it, Matilda. What you mean they talk about during the COVID, okay? And they talk about during the heat of the COVID. And during the time where Salone didn't get the lockdown, and I know say we go on several lockdown them. I want to make Pastor Faith, talk a little bit about what Melqosh been doing.
Okay, so during COVID, to be precise, at the end of March of last year, when for me being that I'm a pastor, I get a quick prompting from God for make we try for protect the war victims, being that in the 13 years where we don't serve, we don't go through quite a lot of challenges that we don't happen at Salone. We don't get mudslide, we don't get flooding, we at any even give a national crisis, we also don't do a bit. So we don't know through Ebola that we get to act fast. We get to be very proactive. And so we decide at the ending of March we go make provisions for, firstly, was just about 100 war victim families in Sierra Leone for provided with Veronica buckets, sanitizers, face masks, and then it cascade from there. The Lord say food and water, and then we now make sure say we start in Freetown, and as we did go, the desire was that we not just do Freetown in some parts of the provinces. It's a national problem we will get, so we get to make sure say as many war victims we could reach, and so in 3 months we able to provide 753 families all over Sierra Leone, from Freetown going to Melqosh, Putloko, Cambia, Moyamba, Pujeon, even Bonth. We get provisions sent there. We actually sent a bag of rice for each household, not a rice where they divide to 2, 3, 4 people now. Each amputee and family gets 1 bag rice, 3 bundles of water, and face mask, antibacterial soaps, and Veronica bucket, and we distribute them in the north, southeast of the country: Kono, Kailahun, Kenema, Lunge, every town, Kamakue, Bumbuna. We go to the far ends, all the 16 districts. I think we did about 21 towns in total, and not one amputee was left behind. And it was a very, very fulfilling mission, even though at the time, not during the Ebola, we were safe in the diaspora. But in this time, we were all at risk, but we take our eyes off and we put them on the amputees, knowing that they're the most marginalized and most neglected groups in Sierra Leone. And we knew that history will repeat itself, that even when funds will be sent to the government of Sierra Leone for provide for vulnerable groups, it not go reach the war victims. And truth be known, that is exactly what happened. And we were going to make sure that we amputees them. The greatest risk was not even Corona, even as how we were all panicking, as we tell everybody on social media, we come together, the community come together and help. We raise about $30,000 where we do that project. The risk was starvation, because in those days they were able to get a lockdown. Amputees can't go out for go beg, because that's how they survive. They have to beg on the streets. And if they can't go solicit help when everybody is on lockdown, how then go eat? So the risk was not actually the COVID-19. The risk was starving to death. And we wanted to make sure that we made provisions for these war victims. So it was a very timely intervention. And it was actually the start. It actually opened up a Pandora's box, because as at that, we actually now know, projects are not just regional, but national, even though we've been on the teeter towards that since 2017 in the area of education. But COVID actually enabled for make projects really roll out and become truly a national and all-encompassing nationwide mission.
An all-encompassing nationwide mission, no amputee left behind. No provinces left behind. Everybody, so long as we know say, and now people then go say, why are you saying we, Matilda? I'm saying we because I know what I am talking about, okay? I know for say, I know can always put my name inside in them, but this is one that I endorse, and I have not been ashamed of it. I've been very public and very vocal about my endorsement for Melqosh Mission and raising funds for Melqosh Mission and promoting the goals, aim, objective, mission of Melqosh Melqosh vision for make sure say no war amputee, no war victim, no war rape, war wounded is left behind. No war widow is left behind. No orphan is left behind. See, now I they call the name them. Before I been they call the name there, I been need for look. But few years in now, I can say it without looking. It's become second nature. So as we go along, we go get inside how NASEF can get inside for help them to organizations there. So Dr. Bull, I want to make you say in the first 3 months, okay, let's say we almost a year now. The first 6 months, what did you see? Did it exceed your expectation or over exceeded your expectation, or did it not reach your expectation?
If there's a word beyond over exceed, I think we could add that to it. Because I started with a concept and a dream to say the first year would be planning, organization, putting things in place. I'm in the US, there's no way I could run a successful organization from the US and during the COVID period, for that matter. And before we could even think of objectives, the youth went into action. Before we could think about planning the action, they went into implementation. And before we could say how we would analyze outcomes, the results start coming out. And so, and like mushrooms and like wildfire, one person they might by telling companies, I did this organization with you, do so and so. The next thing I know, somebody is calling me from Kenema and say, me, we want to start. From Kailan, me, we want to start. To the point that we're trying to control the chapters and the youths, the prepared youths. You have two groups of youths in Salone, prepared youths and unprepared. The prepared youths were so ready for this moment. It's unbelievable. And like I said, to have 25 chapters in 11 months and 21 days, it's mind-boggling, it's overwhelming, but it's a good way to overwhelm yourself when you are patriotic and to know that there are people you are bringing together across districts, across tribes, across religion, across gender, across political parties, across educational level, across socioeconomic status. It's a beautiful mosaic of diversity, and I cannot explain it, but it is happening and it is just so beautiful. And one of the reasons why I think it's successful, because I try to analyze things, is because it's a non-political movement. It's a non-political, and we are so tight about that piece of the mission that in the forums you cannot discuss anything politics, nothing about the government, nothing about the past government, nothing about political parties. Let's take that out, go to another forum to deal with that, and nothing about politics in general. The focus should be on the mission of the youth and how we could build and empower them, and they truly love that, and it is just amazing. But it goes back to this whole piece of empowerment and education, Ms. Matilda. You talked about Fabric College, and it just brings sad memories and good memories and a sad feeling, because that's what I'm trying to us to get back to. When we say election at Fabric College, I was there for 4 years. Election for us was fun. It was party, picnicking. We liked the campaigns. It was all about provoke, teasing the speakers and all of that stuff. But now these are the future leaders.
Yeah.
These are future leaders of Sierra Leone. They are in the pyramid of the educational structure. Mm-hmm. And because illiteracy is 89% in Sierra Leone, these folks are part of this 11% who would have to make a difference. Paulo Freire, the Brazilian philosopher, said all education is political. For we either educate to dominate or we educate to liberate. So you could see exactly what is happening. We are educating to dominate. For the university election to turn violent, for the university election to be politicized, for the university election to use security forces and tear gas, tells you what the future would hold 5, 10 years when these same students graduate and hold public offices. This is the problem we're having. It's a revolving door. And so forget about present politics. This is the future politics, you see. And it is really sad and scary because the torchbearers of the political parties are all in that university. The future leader, probably 20, 25 years from now, is part of that university right now. And that future leader is participating in violence at the university level. So fast forward, tell me what he or she would do at the national level. Scary, scary. And that is what Hope for Youth is trying to change. You know, I always tell people, they say, why you get into Hope for Youth? I say, you know what, I'm an historian. I study Sierra Leone history and all of this stuff. Outside of the slave trade period, and let me repeat that, outside of the slave trade period, the current youths are the ones who have gone through the worst times in Sierra Leone. Outside of the slave trade. Take anybody who's 35 years and younger. Look at their history. Okay? 2 military coups, 10 years of civil war, mudslide, Ebola, COVID, austerity, economic deprivation, illiteracy, unemployment. Anybody. And let me repeat it, 10-year civil war, 2 military coups, Ebola, COVID, mudslide, economic deprivation, illiteracy, and the host of social problems. The only group that suffered the most were the youths who were captured as slaves in the history of Sierra Leone. So if you look at the 200 years gap between slavery and where we should be, if the current youths are almost or equal to the youths who were captured as slaves, what country do we live in? What country do we live in? And that is my drive to say, you know, let's all pitch in and do what we can to help these youths. They don't even know what happiness is. They've never enjoyed happiness. The peace which we enjoyed, the fun and times, the carnival, lantern, parade, all of these things, football, soccer, intersecondary sports, it's not even part of that. They don't even have a social life. Everything is political, political, political. Fight violence. And that's why they do drugs, to cover their hopelessness. They don't have jobs. They depend on politics. The politicians use them to they have the education and dominance. That's what they do at Fabre College. Not to liberate, because when you liberate people, the students at Fabre College will say, no, 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 let's have a clean and fair election. But if the students are in violence, as Paulo Freire says, the educational system is designed to dominate. We have a long way to go.
I wonder where they talk about, you know, liberating the mind, you know, giving the youth hope, you know, pulling them from this syndrome or belief saying that only through politics then go succeed, only through politics then go get access. Have the organization faced any political backlash or any political opposition to the work they do? You don't get any, you know, have the organization had to, you know, really fought off political, you know, how they call them, political infiltration into the organization?
Yes, we've had some of that, but I've been very resistant to that. I'd rather use penny to give to the youth and get my dignity than give them $1 million and compromise myself. We are not here to compromise, we're here to help. And we don't focus the youth them on things that are part of their environment. So that's what we're telling them. To empower yourself, you have to look at what is in your environment. Mm-hmm. Use your environment to empower yourself. Don't look at the big city life. There is not much there for you. We don't have industries who could empower you. Look at your hands. Think about your brain. Look at your environment and what you could do. So we challenge, the first group we challenged was the youths of Moyamba. So what could you do? Forget about all of these things. Get your education, do all of these things. Tell us one thing you could do and we would sponsor you. And it did not take them long to say agricultural project. And they decided to embark on growing corn, which was very successful. They harvested it and all of that stuff. And right now they have about a 5 or 10 acre area where some section chief don't give them, where they don't plant cassava and they don't plant pepper. The youths at Bond doing the same thing. They planted plantain, banana, and pineapple. The youths in Cambia, that they plant cashew. The youths in Lungi right now, that they plant granite. And these are not things we tell them to do. We just tell them, look inward, look in your environment, look at what you could do to empower yourself. And they're beginning to do arts and craft. And the musicians, we've empowered them. You want to do music, forget about politics. Now go sing behind politicians for give you something. When I come together to empower our community and we create a theme for them, the sexual gender-based violence and violence against women, children, rape. So these are all problems. And this Saturday at Moyamba, all the artists, we get about 15 artists when they come together under Hope for Youth to sing about this burning issue of children being raped and marginalized and the gender-based violence and victimization of women and abuse and all of that stuff. And then they get the message. The youths are getting the message. We get an adult education class where they're going right now, Najuba. We're the sponsor. And we have teachers who have joined Hope for Youth and they do evening classes for people basically to get the pride and joy to write their names on a piece of paper and read. So there are little things, but it goes a long way. We avoid the political fray because we don't want to compromise ourselves. Like I always tell the youth, I say, I always talk about politics and all of that stuff, but where would Hope for Youth stand when we have youths in Bond? I say, what political party would they be? They tell me. Youths in Cambia, what political party would they be? They tell me. Youths in Port Loko, what political party would they be? They tell me. Youths in Kono, what political party would they be? They tell me. I say, if we bring politics in here, we would not succeed. Let us be Sierra Leoneans. Let us be patriotic.
Indeed, if we bring politics inside, we're not going to succeed. Let us be Sierra Leoneans.
Let's be Sierra Leoneans. That's exactly what
Sierra
we do.
Leoneans, and that's it. Yeah, I want to go to Pastor Faith, but before I go to Pastor Faith, the question why they can't ask. And by the way, I think people will be very happy. Yes, the numbers are not great, but me and I didn't show you so we can enjoy the most. Because, when at the political show, I can fire them. And then they say, but in that you're too tough. I'm like, well, now that make you calm. If you're not, you don't want me to give you the hard questions, then be prepared. But, these are issues we have to talk about. But these are educational, things then what we get for talk about. We get to know about what's in the happen now with surrounding, what's in the happen now with community. You never know there is a young man out there or a young woman out there who think they've gotten to the end of the rope. But just by hearing this, they can say, what's it? Make I go look if this Hope for Youth today na me corner. Or make I go look, I know say me uncle have been work with you, or myself na war amputee. Make I go see if something the way I can able join hand with and make we help for build. Because remember, no condition is permanent. Remember, A disability is not an inability. Okay. But I want us with technical team, make a roll some pictures them of the recent mission where Melqosh engaged in Salone, and we can talk about this mission. Yeah, so talk about some of the wonderful things that will happen during this mission, and and how one person can have a vision when cascaded, people buy into. You see the beauty of waiting can happen. By the way, some people una we one call. If una one call, the phone lines are open. Una go be very, very happy that exactly in an hour the phone lines open today. That is good. If you want to know more about Hope for Youth Sierra Leone, if you get any question, the CEO and founder is here. You can ask him that. If you want to know more about Melqosh mission, how to get engaged, how to be involved, the phone lines are open. Please feel free to do so, even as we continue with the program. I will make the technical team roll some of them pictures there. So roll, I think there was a video clip along also. Roll that one, they make and then we'll come back and really talk about this beautiful thing we happened inside this year.
The Salone people there, this now Dr. Haisibu, the founder of Hope for Youth in Sierra Leone. The organization we don't care for empower the youths there, for take leadership for the future, for let them take care of themselves, let them build themselves. Then girl picking them with the tell on say on take care of our body, on stop prostitution. Then boy picking them with the tell on say on not get for fat and kill on violence for the
Now, Hope for Youth Sierra Leone. This now the Hope for Youth Sierra Leone, the Lunge chapter coordinator, when I'm Mr. Ali Bapu Kamara. Fumble them as today, Sunday the 16th of May 2021. Now the day this we don't start today the digging process for we agricultural project. We don't plan for plant granite. Now we
Sierra Leone and the international Hope for Youth Entertainment. Listen this. We are doing this like that. Listen this. As natural. Hope for Youth Entertainment. Not for help all the youth in the country. Oh yo, they can for help all the youth them. Oh let them be featured in the country. Oh yo, don't possible not the founder. We get the vision and the mission for the youth them. Oh yo, you don't can for help all the youth them. Oh let them be featured in the country. Oh yo.
The Master's Will Beauty Parlor. We get members then from the Hope for Youth, where they learn for making makeup in and other things that we go benefit them. This is Auntie Mommy.
Oh yeah. Hope for the youth Sierra Leone. Try and understand. We got better plans for the nation. Yeah, that's our ambition. Transform into the youth for tomorrow, yeah. Hey. Transformative leaders. Hope for the youth Sierra Leone. Try and understand. We got better plans for the nation, yeah. That's our ambition. Transform into the youth for tomorrow, yeah. Hey. Transformative leaders. Somebody help me out now. Oh Lord God, we give thanks to the Almighty God for set up for you Sierra Leone. In a this time, in a this time.
The youth of Moyambale don't make us very proud. And they don't decide to take leadership in ways where we believe that the youths of Sierra Leone could. But many people not believe, say the youths of Sierra Leone are capable of doing what we see in Moyambale. The story speaks for itself, that if you empower the youth, they will take leadership in Sierra Leone. So, una look and una listen to waiting there, the youth of Moyamba.
Now, good morning. Now, so now you see the youth of Moyamba, Hope for Youth Moyamba chapter. Man, they don't prepare now for the work. So we turn up for the market, the various. It's time for the market now. The various plots them, so that we will go Butuna for brush, and the land is all the can use for the agricultural implementation. So as soon as they see so far, and the work will.
Good afternoon to everyone in this group. Me, na Joseph Benson Koba, and I'm born and grew up in a Regent village. Me, na the leader for the Regent Village chapter. Before I go further, I go let for tell Papa God thank you for the life of Dr. Prince Isibul, where he give him the inspiration for form this organization for better life in this country. And also the well-meaning Sierra Leoneans then across the globe where they support him for make this organization stand strong. For me, Hope for Youth Sierra Leone na organization where they seek for create awareness among the youth, for make them realize say they can be change agents and self get the ability for be in charge of their own life.
So a special discussion program where they come to you by members from Hope for Youth Sierra Leone Kono chapter. And listeners, Hope for Youth, they discuss on a special topic where they call sexual gender-based violence, because it don't affect the country and we women and sisters them, because it don't affect them. Hope for Youth Kono chapter decide for discuss on this particular program here, and me they moderate the program. Me na Umaru Sanko.
Say no to raping, no violence, no violence, no violence. Hope for you say no violence against the women.
For Youth Sierra Leone, it's a non-profit organization. As my brother just said, Mr. Koba, it's a non-political organization. This organization is created to inspire young people. We.
No brutality. For youth says so.
Thank you, ma. Thank you, ma.
We go come back to the other video. Since the Hope for Youth Sierra Leone video don't roll first, I go come to Dr. Bull, make he explain small. So we don't tell we some of the achievements the way Hope for Youth don't do in less than a year. I don't tell we how the Hope for Youth don't spread across Sierra Leone, and may I even say internationally, not only Salone normal Hope for Youth they right now, they back now other places then. And they continue for spread like wildfire. The only rule now Hope for Youth shall not bring politics kanyaso. So long as you not bring politics inside it, you are welcome, all is good. But if you want to bring politics, you want to bring fact, you want to bring cost, you want to bring drug, you want to bring this, then there is an issue, because you go derail from waiting important. I see some people and they ask say, this is great, Prof. How can we reach him? How can we help? How can we join this, the Hope for Youth, this thing has so we don't spread like wildfire, where they catch, we just, it's growing its own limbs and legs and taking on its own shape.
Okay, so thank you. Hope for Youth get a website. The website is hope4youths.sl.org. So I don't know if your technical team will be able to pull it up, but it's hope number 4 youths-sierraleonesl.org.
Yes.
At that website, you will able look at all the projects that we they do. We are a non-profit 501(c)(3) in the USA. We not get non-administrative overhead. We not pay nobody in the US. Even all the administrative costs, either me family or sponsors or donors addressing those issues. And the cool thing about Hope for Youth is you could do a specific designation of your money, or you could do a general contribution. What do I mean by that? So if you come up Cambia and you want to sponsor the youths at Cambia, when you make your contribution, you tell us, I contribute this money only for Cambia, or for Kono, or for Pujang, or for Moyamba, or for Potloko. And we make sure 100% of the money goes to the youths. But before we assign and send the money to them, we vet their programs and we work with them to create a sustainable program. So we're not to make party with the money. We're not to do any celebrations with the money. Every money you contribute, they go into a sustainable project. Simply, they therefore turn the money over. And the profit stays with them. The profit never comes back to Hope for Youth. And they are accountable to it. So each organization, each unit, they form their own executive, which includes their president, the vice president, a secretary general, and a treasurer. And we encourage them to get a bank account. So right now, like Moyamba, get a bank account. So we could do an international draft right into the account from US or UK, anywhere in the world. And the money goes in there. In every chapter, now the province, now the district get for register with the district council, the youth council, the agriculture council. So it becomes a certified, bona fide organization, now the district, and then therefore do community work. So during the COVID, all the chapters, they do COVID sensitization for wash your hand, not touch your nose, not touch your mouth, not touch your eye, social distancing, and also we get each district them for use tailors them, local tailors them where we pay for sew masks, we then print Hope for Youth on, and then go distribute in the marketplaces, mosques and churches and schools. So we did teach the youths them how to give back to the community, which is beautiful. Like Waterloo, that they do street cleaning, now Waterloo, and some other areas that they do projects and the marketplace, now Pujang and other areas. So in addition to that, we also bring in youths from different districts together to break this issue, which is they affect our organizational and political structure, that we are segregated by district or by tribes or by politics or by, regions. We are breaking that with Hope for Youth. So if you look at the picture where they put up on the show from Moyamba, we get artists and when they come out from Cambia, artists and from Lunge, artists and from Kono, where all they converge to Moyamba. They go there as Sierra Leoneans to participate in a project. And that's the picture that you see right there. And we have a lot of artists then. And when we do the fundraising, we don't bring the money back to Hope for Youth. It's divided between the artist and the chapter where they host. So if Moyamba they host, once we give them the money, Moyamba would get 50% of the profit, and all the artists that we go participate, we consider them as professionals. We're beginning to teach them that you could use your talent to make money and not to be used just to make a song. So they are eager to join this movement to preach against violence and sexual violence, and it's paying off in many, many ways, and lots of other youths are beginning to join. And now we're beginning to go into the high schools to form different groups. Like in Cambia, we went into the Linda Coma high school, I believe it was, Colontel High School, Islamic Foundation, and Sunday Foundation. Those were 4 schools. We did a lot of sensitization in those 4 schools. Now we are beginning to pull these youths together to talk about sexual abuse, for them to recognize those things, you know, to understand where your uncle is, or people say this time is small wealth, this time it is, begin knock you back and you waist and all of that stuff. We are sensitizing these youth, say this is how abuse starts. Don't encourage it, and make sure you mama and you papa they know say things like this they happen. So the youths are doing a great service to the nation. I wish they could be here. I've resisted giving interviews because it's not about me. Truly, I've always said, if I could get the youths of Freetown and the chapters them to participate, they are so eloquent and passionate. They could even do a far better job than I could. But because we tried that a couple of times and they got stuck with the network and all of that stuff, this is the very first interview I am giving. And Miss Matilda Cole is the fortunate benefactor of that, because I've resisted it so much, because it's not truly about me. It's about the youths, and they should be in a position to tell their stories. And so if you really want to support the youths of Sierra Leone, please, 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 I guarantee you every penny plus the interest we make from the banks, we send them to the youths. And they're making T-shirts now. T-shirts, mugs, plates, souvenir. In Waterloo, they're printing programs for weddings and funerals. They're doing all kinds of stuff in Sierra Leone. You know, I've provided some other avenues for them to make money in transportation areas. So they have a transport van with their logo on it, and they are managers and CEOs. They call themselves. It's so interesting to see the transformation in 12 months, and it's a beautiful thing. And I have hope. I truly believe in this hope that, like I said, I may not see it, but there is hope. We have a few good youths, and those youths will never get into violence for politics, will never get into drugs, will never get into prostitution, and we're working hard to help the female youths with a microcredit loan from the organization up to 2 million leones to set up your own business and start paying back after 6 months. So we are doing different things to empower the youths. Now they even want to have a soccer team in Cambia, because they say when a football sabi plays, so could we have hope for youth soccer? Go for it. Do we have hope for youth band? Go for it. And it is just a beautiful, beautiful piece. And I'm just encouraging all Sierra Leoneans. We left the political world. We cannot change that to help the youth. You could still be vocal, but talking does not help the youths who are struggling. And like I said, I repeat this again, outside of the youths who suffered slavery, these youths are really going through a difficult time. So thank you, Ms. Matilda.
So yes, indeed, when I say so with Hope for Youth, not to Hope for Youth, they tell you waiting, or they tell the youth them waiting them for do. You know, they tell them say na waska with the open phone. You know, they tell them say na.
Yes, we don't direct that. We don't do that. We don't impose on them.
Say, hey Matilda, you be known they do so well. Why don't you put waska inside now? But it's all good. It's all good. No, but to be honest, we know they tell them say they can't open Waska phone, they can't open this phone. They come with the idea. We look at the idea. We see the veracity, the robustness of the idea, and it's up to them. If you sink, you sink. If you succeed, you succeed. That seed money that you want will be given to you. You know, so you decide whose servant you want for be. If you want for be the one where go hide them under bed, or if you want for be the one where they multiply them by 5, you decide. And when you are in control of your own destiny, you are in control of what happen. You are in control of the story from that point on. You lead the story. You decide what story you want people to know of you. You decide what story you want people to be encouraged about. You decide. Not to anybody na Hope for Youth, they come and tell you, say, na this you for do, na dande you for do and so do. No. You think about what makes you think. You think about what drives you. Think about what will make you wake up in the morning. Think about what will say when they say that minister they can today. You look, you turn. You look, you watch. You say, okay, make it can no more. Me get me on what I get for go do. When they say that president they can today, you look, you turn, you look your future, you look what you don't accomplish, and you say, okay, make it can no more. Me self gets me on for go do. So this is what Hope for Youth gives to. And yes, I know for say at this point, some people then go say, Matilda, they talk. Yes, at this point, you go one for no. Yes, Hope for Youth. I am part of Hope for Youth. Yes, I am part of the vision. I am all in, 100% in. And yes, anything for make we youth them, think better of themselves, think higher of themselves, and know for say, I can always tell you, yes, ma, adema, yes, sir, you bobo de sa. Those are language that we have to erase from our vocabulary, from we youth them vocabulary. So for that singular reason alone, going back to the pledge, going back to the national anthem, when I got the call to give me a second, people, my battery ran low and I did not even notice. Oof, this is crazy. Just give me a second, just a quick technical glitch. It will be sorted in 2 seconds. Okay, so I hope you all can hear me. And my battery is low, but that doesn't mean the show doesn't go on. The show continues because the show can still be controlled from where we are. So basically, when I got the call for, say, Hope for Youth, I'm like, yes, why not Hope for Youth? Absolutely, I'm in, I'm all in. I was at that very first meeting where Hope for Youth, be birthed out loud. And, and I've been part of it ever since, and I will be part of it until they say, okay, Matilda, you don't do now. Okay, you go sit down now. Make you the watch, or or play another role. But whatever role I choose to play, I'll continue to play it right up until the time when maybe another opportunity for make I play another different role. So yes, why not Hope for Youth? Una go there, una go na the website, una donate any lily and Latin. One thing I can guarantee you about the money from Hope for Youth, whatever your donation is, 100%. And please, I repeat this, 100% of it goes back into Hope for Youth. They go into an administrative cost, they go for go pay somebody, they go for go pay board members, they go for go pay nobody. But every single penny of it goes directly back into the youths of Sierra Leone, wherever they are, they need to be helped. So yes, I'm not going to tire for say this. I'm not going to tire for continue. Some people like they say, Matilda, you always they talk politics, but see now that make I been saying I suppose for there so today. All 400 and 500 of you who are normally here watching my show at this exact time, see you all don't balance. Because I know they talk about that politician, they do this. This politician say so. What to make you for do that? This constitution say so. This constitution say that. So on all don't balance, but these are the time when una be for really get for see and understand what makes Matilda think. Outside of all the political talk, waiting really I'm about. Waiting really na the thing them where they drive me behind the scenes where una know nothing about. This was an opportunity for you to know. And those of you who will tune in later, from Instagram, from Facebook, from WhatsApp, from you name all the platforms that we broadcast from, Next time on, they point a finger at me for saying, what have you done for your country? What are you involved in? Open your purse. That McDonald's money where you be one buy, that Starbucks coffee, that place where you be one go. Take that money, they balance them inside one of them two organizations there. Where you don't balance the money, you can't criticize me. I go take that day. But if you know they balance that money, then you can criticize me. I no go take them. So balance that McDonald's money, na $20, na $30. Now, if even if you save that money for 1 week, where you take go buy coffee, you save that money there for 1 week. You say, okay, today they give to Melqosh, or today they give to Hope for Youth. Trust me, you have become part of the transformation. You have empowered a village in Sierra Leone. You have empowered some youth within the provinces of Kono, or from Kailang, or from Kenema, or from Makeni, or from Writing Tai Freetown, Regent, Watalo, Songo, you name it, it's scattered all over. It's scattered all over. And yes, I am part of it. My hand is in there, tigi, not a komot nado. And I no go tire for talk. Make I go now to Pastor Faith, because like I was saying, something beautiful happened this year. Something where Melqosh mission, don't they do missions them for years now. But this year, it was, they say, like what they can say, it is the Lord's doing. He did his work. He did what was supposed to have been done. And like what they can say, I am not man that I should lie. He show everybody say he is not man. He's not depending on an institution, even though the institution go can and lie. Life wants to first say yes, make them wait, the money they come, and then when they give them the money, then turn back na the corner, then take 90% of the money. There are some stories I will not go into, and sometimes when I talk, know that I talk with a lot of background, with a lot of frustration. But make I left the vision career, make it tell we. I will ask the technical team, make them roll some of the pictures then, and a short clip, and then Pastor Faith will come inside and tell we waiting at the image them where we see.
Okay, you would like for me to give some narrative to the pictures?
So when the pictures then don't roll, then go they roll again at the top when we come back, when you did talk. But yeah, okay. Yeah, then go they.
Thank you, ma. Thank you, ma.
Okay, so Pastor Faith, tell us about this year's mission completed for 2021 mission where you just complete na Salone. I believe it was a mission that was supposed to have been a month, and it lasted close to about 3 or 4 months.
Okay, and before I go further, I just want to commend Professor for this outstanding work on I done during the last 11 months. I am truly elated to hear all of these news, because I frequent Sierra Leone and I do really know that there needed to be a turnaround for the youth. So kudos, and I pray for more grace for uphold this vision, because it is one thing to start, it's another thing to continue and to maintain the vision. I pray say God will give her all the resources and strength and the tenacity for carry on, because it's indeed a worthy, laudable cause. God bless her. So so of course we actually start with mission on the first. I actually go Sierra Leone on New Year's Day itself. I'm a little bit of a background. I was in London, and then the Lord said to me, what are you doing in London when there are souls perishing? Now, the mission where we go do was bigger than what we'd ever thought. In fact, it was a 4 or 5 multiple mission in Sierra Leone. And it had different layers, different facets. For example, normally on January 6th, on the day where most of the amputees are very morose and dispassionate and disillusioned and discouraged, we always do a program for lift them spirits up, for elongate their lives through medical missions, for do empowerment and mentorship program for them, for make we able for equip them and give them transformative talks that we go ginger them spirits for know that despite the trauma, despite the challenges where they don't go through, God still get a plan for them. So every year we have been going to Sierra Leone, and so but this year after 2 or 3 glitches, because I was very skeptical about getting on the plane and, traveling how many hours in the midst of COVID, but notwithstanding, we got there. And we do the first part of a medical mission. As always, we can travel with, thousands of dollars worth of medicines where we did cargo. Last year, we had so much challenges for make we go able to procure medicines purely because one in the UK, the Brexit, because we always they buy with medicines and from UK, make sure say we get, authentic medicines. In Sierra Leone, there are a lot of fake medicines. And so we make sure so whenever we're doing our missions, everything we're using, our tools, our resources, our gifts are authentic and of high standard. And so we couldn't get the medicines. We had to procure from America. Thanks to Matilda for the hookup with one of the pharmacists in the US. We were able to get some medicines there. We had some donation from a Nigerian pharmacist. We bought some in the UK. And then we took a leap of faith and we went to Sierra Leone. And then we partnered with an organization called the Dental Health International Netherlands, and they do free dental care. So they, as a matter of fact, they actually went to Sierra Leone ahead of me, go and train 14 trainees them. Salone, medical trainees, because during the Ebola, we lost a lot of medical practitioners then, and so they had to go and do some training. As a matter of fact, we have very few dental practitioners for the 7 million people that we have. And so they went to Sierra Leone, then Team Go, plus the 14 teams, trainees that we work with, and we did 2 weeks of medical missions. We do Freetown, and then we worked with amputees, war wounded, all the war rape victims, living at Newton, Hastings, Waterloo, Grafton, Rockell, all the Western area access, Jeway, all of those areas that we work with. And then we moved the project to the provinces, because I always say, most charities that we can try to do the easier part to just stop in a Freetown, but Freetown is not Sierra Leone. It's just a small part of Sierra Leone. And so we moved to the provinces and we did similar projects for war victims, those in Makeni, there are about 160 something of them at Makeni. We treated them. We treated amputees from Maboka. We actually transported them to the medical center we use at Makeni and Mabente Hospital. And then we did also the same thing because of the lack of access to service. where the amputees and the war victims that normally they get access. For example, this dental care that we had, it has not been provided for them, since the war ended. And in as much as we not really like us, okay, we eye on government, but there is a recommendation that was given by the UN and Sierra Leone's TLC, which is a Truth and Reconciliation recommendation, where for every country, when there is a war we end, the victims should have a certain reparation, medical care, dental, free health, free education for their children and even the young ones, reparation of funds, welfare funds. None of that has materialized. So we as a nation, we as a mission say, well, we gonna be the bridge, meet them at the bridge. We gonna be the people there where what the government cannot do. We know Sierra Leone don't go through a lot of things. Some they can do, they have choose not to do. Some they're not able to do. But what we can do, we will be the bridge builder. And so, sorry about that. We do the medical mission in the area of giving them free Medicare, amputees the way, we get majority of the 93% of war amputees or war victims in Sierra Leone suffer from ulcer, purely because sometimes they eat once a day. And so because of hunger, there's been, the one over there in the medical field, there's been a leaking, there's been an ulceration in the intestine because of hunger. So we get to make sure, we provide medicines for them. Another, another condition where they get mostly high blood pressure among war victims, very prevalent. And so over 80% of war victims have passed away in Sierra Leone. And so we're at a race against time for elongate the lives of these war victims. And that is why we do these medical missions, because it's needed, it's life-saving. It's not only life-changing, but it is life-saving. And I will also see some picking them. Anona, can you go to where the library is?
Yes.
And I get pictures of the library.
Yeah, it has
okay, so we also complete a library in Sierra Leone where we get a donor where help for make we build that, and it's based in Newton, and you can see on the day of the cookout. Okay, maybe when I don't get to show all the pictures, but we send some pictures of the library. We get educational literacy or for secondary and primary students, and we also get, set up a resource center, because of course when I all know say almost 96% of speaking in a Salone fail there, which we know as common entrance Natong, where we really grow up. 96% of them fail. So we want to change that narrative today, because the only chance the amputees then get and then picking and get for change their story now through education. And then SSF can say if the picking them learn when they're able to get employed.
Just give me a second, Pastor Faith. So we get a bit of a technical glitch. Pastor Faith is speaking, but Dr. Prince Isibuli named the show. So I just want to make the viewers they know saying the wrong name the show. Right now, the technical team is trying to fix that in the background. So not so when I see the woman they talk for when it's airs, because this is not a live show. I just want to make the correction. The woman na Pastor Faith, and then the man na Dr. Prince Isibul. Go ahead.
Okay. So we set up the resource center as well, where they provide supplementary education for the children of the amputees so that then go get quality education where they talk about we really do need the quality because we do not have quality education in Sierra Leone. And we want for Gidi picking them a competitive edge among their peers, specifically because these marginalized children, we all know when you talk about child poverty, these children are members of the underclass and also deal with extreme and severe child poverty. They're 8 times much more marginalized than the average child in Sierra Leone. And so we actually take a priority and say, get them educated. We, over the 12 years, 13 years, we don't sponsor Pikine. We don't get graduate them. This year, we get 4 students then, 2 that are amputees, war amputees, where they, become amputees. 1 was only 3 when the bullets were shot in Granny, when Granny died, actually severed her arm. Then the other one, she was actually less than 10 years when more than 10 men raped her. And then after they raped her, then cut her arm. And she has become the first graduate teacher in Sierra Leone. She made history this year. We also get this young man, we also get a degree in social work. And then we get 2 other war orphans, them, where children of war amputees, them. 1 way graduate from IPAM with honors, BA honors in finance and accounting. And the other young war orphan male will graduate with bachelor's in economics. So we actually, they see, all these years we don't sponsor them, pay school fee. Of course, we all know in 2018, free education or rollout for many people then. But prior to that, since we come into being, we have been paying school fees. There was a year in 2017 where we pay school fees for 350 Pekines. So we actually don't get testimonies even in this year. When they talk about education.
See how beautiful it is, you see, begin pay school fee for picking them, and now they are graduates. Can you imagine? And now they are at a position where they're in a place to give back to society.
Definitely.
And we go make sure, say, then get the job them where they deserve for give back to be contributing members of society. Absolutely.
Definitely, yeah. And so we continue now. We they pay school fees for picking them in primary and secondary schools. Thankfully, 2019, after we advocate, because there was a bit of a social exclusion issue that happened for the war victims, but we addressed that in 2019. The picking them again for get free education. So now we focus on making sure that we provide educational supplies, school bags, books, school books, pens, rulers, every educational material, everything we're picking in at the diaspora when September starts, when they make notes, say you go back to school, everything is new, you have your school supplies, the kids have it. Uniforms, we provide uniform bursary, shoes bursary, socks bursary, so that the kids are fully equipped for make them able to go to school. How can a child go to school? They say they get free education, but then go to school barefoot. 1, morale would be very low. 2, the stigma that is attached. Already being a child of a war victim is demoralizing in so many ways because of the stigma. Then they have all of these things they get handled. And so we make sure the kids are properly equipped to go back to school. And the children or the youths that are in higher education, we provide scholarships for them to go to university and colleges. And so that's the educational part. This year, we actually made provisions for over 1,000 children in the 4 corners of Sierra Leone. Again, we did it in Freetown, from Grafton to Newton End, and then we carried on to Melqosh, we did Port Loko, we did Canberra, we did Maboka, McKinney. As a matter of fact, on the day that I was leaving, we team, whilst I was going to Lunge, the team went and executed the last mission where we do for this the first quarter of 2021, and 289 children at McKinney receive uniform allowance and their educational supplies. Between Pujaun, Kenema, Kailahun, Kamakue, we went even Kabbalah, the furthest part, I went to places that I've never been to, and it wasn't a case of sending a team. We went to the people. It's a Jesus ministry, and Jesus went to the people. And so we went there. Whilst we were doing the projects for the children, we also make sure we do medical missions in all the places that we went to. So it was so holistic. It was the pictures are all there on Facebook as we were going over in the race. In fact, we haven't even shared everything, to be honest, because we were so busy executing, we couldn't put everything out there. But the mission in itself was holistic. It was the most rewarding mission we've ever done, backed up with a soul-winning mission where God asked we for do say for every amputee, say they don't suffer on this earth. He said, go be travesty for make, then go and die there, then go to hell because they don't receive Christ. And the most important thing, we go give them everything. If we not give them Christ, we haven't given them anything. And so we spent about $20,000 on the soul winning issue alone, where over 1,200 Bibles were given out to these war victims. We fed them every time, every crusade and soul winning mission we did a cookout for the war victims. So the children received youth Bibles, the youths received the Bibles, and the adults. And we made sure there's a Bible in every household. When I talk about it, it is so, sometimes you forget about how much work you don't do until you begin to talk about it. And it was ongoing, and then the culmination of it was the opening of the library and the resource center. We also did a conference for empower war victims, and for making them go come into them being, understanding destiny, understand that even though they go through amputation, rape, assault, they're more than enough in God's eyes. And so we did a 3 days empowerment session, and we had a guest speaker from America that came and empowered them in those and charged them up in those 3 days. Provided bags of rice. We also provided crutches for the war victims, and then we also did an eye mission for the amputees, the war victims, the one where they get problem with their eye. We will do eye mission. That is, as well was historic, because it's the first time it's been done since the war ended. We provided bags of rice in Kono. I mean, the project was just ongoing as we were there. And the beauty of it is that we not raised all the funds we had needed, even for the medical mission, as at the time that I was leaving. But when I got to Sierra Leone, everything we needed to get done was done. Every funds, everything. I was meant to do 1 month, and I pushed it to 3 months to make sure all that I needed to do, I did. And I tell you, it was the most impactful 3 months of my life so far. Wow. And I just want to thank everybody who will be part, because no man is an island. I may be the goer, but you and others are the senders. And I want to thank the community, for those who are listening, that are part of our campaigns that we do different times in the year. Thank you for believing in our cause. I can always say new charities, then Salone people are like new thing. When something comes, everybody they on board. But realize after 2-3 years, it is only the true blue that stays. But we've been able to continue against all odds in the time when people did not believe in charities. When you talk about charity, people and things say, oh, no, lie. And we fought against the storm, and we stood the test of time. And God has, because of our consistency, the community believed in us. God raised people, and everything that needed to be done has been done. I always can tell people and say, we do 2-3 missions in the year. And every mission, I'm not in competition with anybody. I'm in competition with the last mission where we do. So my biggest query now is how are we going to beat what we have just completed? Because literally, holistically, for what we accomplished in Sierra Leone, we spent over $50,000 in the 3 months that we did. How are we going to even do that? And the funny thing about it is that in the midst of COVID, in the time when people and me, they say, people are not going to give. Even in the time when people and they say, may we watch with pockets, it's when funds were raised. Some of the funds that were raised for the soul winning, the 20,000, we didn't even need to go to the community to raise. Within we board members, then the funds were raised because they knew the importance that with all that is happening, what we can do now, let us get it done now. Let us not say, we will do it tomorrow when it is in our power to do it today. And so all the things that I am in awe with all the things that God has used Melqosh to do, because I just made myself available, and then God has brought in the divine helpers, the resource givers, the brain think tank people there where we can get where we can say, let's do this, let's put that in together, everything. It's been beautiful in the 13 years, and there's more to go, because now we don't go nationwide, meaning that there is no town in Sierra Leone that Melqosh has not impacted. And the project is so peculiar because many people, majority of Sierra Leoneans shy away from projects like that because it's very huge, it's very complex in itself, and people that want to forget about the war, and then he thinks, well, why Melqosh reminds people of the war, but we believe in community engagement, or community participation, community involvement, because we Sierra Leoneans can be the change that we want to see. We don't need we get for wait for donors or international donors. The reason why we had over 32 charities that went to Sierra Leone during the war, and none of them except the Norwegian Friends of Sierra Leone stayed to do a sustainable project for the war victims. Why? Because then think about the administrative cost. Most charities that are NGO, they look about 80% to 70 to between 60 to 80% goes to administrative costs, and really only 20% actually goes to the charity. We flipped the script and we made sure that I sold my home to be able to continue Melqosh, so that I will be financially stable for whilst we're raising funds. The project will now go to the war victims. Then every penny that we're raising can go to the war victims and help them for making them able to get the deserving waiting they need. Nobody deserve for say pass get for beg na street for make them able drink water or eat rest. No human being deserve that. And we are fighting for them to change their stories. And we have just only started. Thank you very much.
Indeed, nobody deserves to make them beg na streets for drink water or for eat rest. But unfortunately, that is the condition most of our people find themselves. And me, you, and you all out there, we can change that narrative. We can change that story. Dr. Bull, I want to ask you, some people then go on for know if this Hope for Youth, if it is only meant for able-bodied people then, or is it inclusive of anybody, anyone?
That's a great question. It's an inclusive organization, and we even have a chapter for special needs. And so as I listen to Pastor Faith, the talk, I get a background in special education, and my wife also, and we are passionate about educating diverse groups of people and get them all inclusive. So we work with the individuals with special needs, and we have changed the narrative. We even tell them they cannot call themselves disabled. They are able to do certain things, but they have limitations in certain areas. That does not make you a disabled. I know it's a common term used in Sierra Leone, but Hope for Youth don't use that. we say you have special needs, and that special needs account for the deficit you have. So if you can talk, you could write, you could work, then you are not a disabled person. So to answer your question, yes, we are inclusive, and the age gap continues to grow because we see the need. We capped it at age 30, we move it to age 35, and now we even get adults coming in to Hope for Youth, and we're going below age 15 right now. As they talk right now, I just received feeds from Moyamba, which I just forwarded to you. I don't think it was from Harvard School. They went there today to talk about the gender-based violence campaign, because forget that awareness. So we reach out to the school beginning. But Pastor Faith touched on something that I think as all Sierra Leoneans should make us cringe. You know, I'm an educator in the US, and so education is a passion. So whatever we do with Hope for Youth, always get a form of education, whether it is structured, whether it is formal, whether it's informal. We're educating the people to survive. And it just gives us a staggering figure that 96% of the Bikini Seat Common Entrance fail. Now, if you fast forward this group 15 years from now, you're talking about 4% high-level literacy. It's a scary proposition. The brains of Sierra Leoneans not change from before colonialists come to the period where colonialists come to the period where we raise to the period now. The brains of Sierra Leoneans have never changed. So why are Sierra Leoneans failing? It's the educational system. It has nothing to do with the children.
No.
You don't give us example of Pikinawe and pay school fee for who are finishing IPAM and all of these other places. And you see the ingenuity and the creativity in youth. And so as educator, you know, I always use, you know, there's a phrase, you cannot make chicken salad out of chicken feathers. And so think about this, you know, they cook potato leaf with potato kanda. Let's put it that way. If you want to educate your children, you have to have educators who could educate them, a structure to educate them, a system that educates them. See, that's why sometimes I don't like to come on shows like this, because it really touches my heart, because the municipal school where I go to, where I don't even know say I study, because they play the entire 7 years, I passed common entrance. It was just a given. You did pass common entrance and Sierra Leone get the best result. I play, till the time for go reach. I wake one morning, they see you go sit common entrance. I say, oh, I went there, I sat down, and I passed. I went to the grammar school. We passed. People that they passed, they go CKC, they go both school, they go Harvard, they go convent. And we are getting like 90%. We're not able to pass and fail common entrance. In my days, it was a given. You're going to pass. Even the O levels, you're going to pass. So when we see this reverse that is happening, you know, as Sierra Leoneans will wake up and say, where could we make a difference? We can't do it with the government. It's failing us completely. We cannot go there, and going there and a waste of time, you just making a noise in a bucket. Sierra Leoneans, we each have to do something.
Indeed.
We really try to come together to help the system. And we have a saying that Hope for Youth, we're doing one youth at a time, one village at a time, one chiefdom at a time, one district at a time, one province at a time, one region at a time, and collectively we will touch Sierra Leone. That is
one at a time, we will touch Sierra Leone. I know I'm for put Dr. Bull on blast right now, but you know, sometimes like you say, Matilda, you can like for try water, you don't try chance small no more. Then you know you really attack. I know I'm for put them on blast, so but you get for guys you don't know so back, because at some point I need for make it can talk about how do we change the narrative of our educational system? Where did we go wrong? How can we catch up and how can we get to where we need to be. And as Sunakino, I always look for the best of the best, those who what their salt for Kansidona Yaso, for talk but team them, were very pertinent. So when that time they reach, I give a call on Dr. Bull again and say, well, now you feel though, do you want someone else to come BS the people, or do you want the people who know what they are talking about to educate the people? I shall say it go take the latter. Someone who knows what they are talking about to educate the people. So anyways, people, we don't talk Baku today. And, like I say, these two projects are projects that are dear to my heart. I will go, I will go to war for them and for promote them and for talk about them and for show why they are necessary and for say why people should get involved. Why people that close way, that $100 way they can go take for go buy that Ashobi. Think about it again. Do you really need another Ashobi? Do you really need another lace? Do you really need that new pair of shoes? Do you really need that new purse? Sometimes when I donate, that's how I arrive at my conclusion. I go, well, a mall man go see me, I take picture, they say, hey, Matilda, it's fine, it's nice. But then after that very minute, they were aware, and that is it. It's done. Whereas if I take that $100, that $200, they invest them into something like this. Do you know how beautiful it is for somebody for say God go bless you when the person no one day see you, the person don't know you. The person may never see you in their lifetime or in your lifetime. It's a beautiful thing. Make I go to Pastor Faith. Pastor Faith, waiting on your final message to people in this evening and waiting you go want people in for no, for make them put on candy soak.
Okay. My final message as continuing from what I say earlier, I truly believe, a lot of people can say, why you keep on focusing on Sierra Leoneans doing it. Now, we na Sierra Leoneans, nobody not get to make Sierra Leone for we. That was so foot where we get in a Salone when I come the war. A lot of people like you say, oh, we don't want to talk about the blood diamonds. Why every time we don't talk about Sierra Leone, it's about war, Ebola, blood diamonds, blah, blah, blah. But we can only change that narrative when we handle what we need for be addressed. We need a redress. And we Sierra Leoneans can change the narrative. Of course, every June, for several years now, we use June for kick-off with campaigns for educational mission trip where we can do to Sierra Leone for the beginning of the academic year, for furnish and equip the picking them for make them go return back to school, and also for make we go provide the scholarship there where they provide for university and college students. And so on the International Day of the African Child, which is coming up on the 16th of June, I wish I'd sent you the flyer, but no worries. For those who want to they watch or we go watch later on, you can able to reach me on Melqosh Mission on Facebook, and we also get we website when at www.melqosh.org. I see your technician being actually when they put we website details, earlier. So it's melqosh.org. Even if you type melqosh.org, or even if you type Google, we have a YouTube channel where we get two websites. With this one where they show right now, which is melqoshmissioninternational.org, and we get the shorter one when I'm melqosh.org. And even if you just type Melqosh on Google, you will see a plethora to your heart's content. Pictures, evidence, videos of what we've been doing in the last 13 years. We have a YouTube channel that has over 50 to 60 videos of all the work that we've been doing. So you could go on our website and see if we are worth supporting. So on the Day of the African Child, we ask people then for making them sponsor one child at £65, which is equivalent to $90. Can't remember what $90 is in Canadian dollars. I'm talking about US dollars. But for US dollars, it's $90. For $90,
if anything. Yeah.
100 and what?
About $110, I think.
Okay. Okay. Canadian dollars. Okay. And so for £65, £65, $90 US dollars, or 110 Canadian dollars, that will furnish a child with several pairs of uniforms, several pairs of socks, a pair of school shoes, a proper durable bag, school bag that would last the whole year, and provide the child with school supplies like notepads, maths and English notepads, all the other materials that they need, like pens, pencils, rulers, erasers, sharpeners, you name it, to furnish the child and equip the child to be ready to start the school year. And so we're asking people to come on board and donate. We have a cash app, which is the $, and then it's MELQOSH, which at the beginning of we name $, and it's MELQOSH. Or you could find we on Zelle. If you go on Facebook in June, all throughout June to September, we'll be fundraising every week to reach we target. We want to make sure, say, at least minimum 200 children would have the premium package. And continuing of that, because we want to help 2,000 children this year. Last year, with this academic year, we've helped a little bit over 1,000. We want to, like I say, we're always in competition of our last mission. So we want to see how we could do more this year. And so the 90%, I mean, subject to what is happening all around the world, if we're able to raise the funds, fair enough. If not, we would do the 90% on the standard package. We would just provide a child with the school supplies and school bag and just one uniform. But we're focusing the first part for making we able to get at least 200 children, for making them able to get the complete premium package where we want to provide. And the International Day of the African Child, many of you will know, from 1991, during the Soweto massacre of children, it happened, and this year is going to mark the 30th anniversary of the International Day of the African Child. So let us do something historic. Let us do something to commemorate the day. Let us help the African child. Like I said earlier, the children of the war victims are 8 times more marginalized. The youth of the war victims are 8 times more marginalized than the average amputees, average person. Most of the girls, many girls, have gone into prostitution just to provide food on the table for their families. Many girls, as soon as their parents then pass away, because we get a high mortality rate amongst the war victims, within the first year of their parents, the war victim parent passing away, the girl becomes a single mother. A man will take advantage of your vulnerability, put her in the family way, and abandon her. So there you have a child who already needs help, and then she's now faced with having another child to take care of. And so we want to change that. We want to curb the social injustice. We want to curb the financial injustice. And we want to make sure that every child, be it that you're an able-bodied person, be it that you're a child of a person with disabilities, every child will be a child. Every child will get an opportunity. It's hard enough coming from a normal setting family than coming, and it's hard enough. Life in Sierra Leone is hard enough. Then you talk about people their way, picking, and they come from families where papa get for go big for make them go even eat. So if they're not even getting enough for eat 3 square meal, how then go make provision for clothes at the Pekin, for health provisions for the Pekin, or even for educate the Pekin? And this is where Melqosh comes on board, for make we able for help them, for make them will get a better life and get a life of dignity. Everybody deserves that. Thank you very much. And for the One Way Day, we also can normally raise funds on Facebook. So if you do come, you see the Facebook campaign. We've been doing Facebook campaigns for the last 6 years or so. Please partner with us. Every little helps. Even if you not get a $65 pounds or $90, you can say, well, okay, I'll go buy 2 books or I'll go buy 1 uniform. Everything can help for make the difference. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will ask the technical team for play the last video. We just come on Moyamba, I believe, from the mission and Moyamba, and then I will give Dr. Bull tell people them waiting they want for tell people them even as we say tata for this event. I will ask the technical team make them play that video. I believe it's for Moyamba.
Yeah, just a short clip of it, not all.
Yeah.
Program where we get for now is complicated. Yeah, they don't like from you know what I mean? It's school activities. But this time around, when they come up with the quiz competition, we're not hope for youth, where they empower the youth. Yes, we are the youth, we are the future leaders of tomorrow. So on the 12th, they come up with quiz competition. All school get prize. You understand? All school and 4 schools then. All schools get prize. And we will happily proceed. Some of we don't play hit songs in the country. Some of people's, we don't dance to people's in song. You know, rap Jinama. You see big stars and computers when they come for Congress occasion in the day. When one of we coordinator this, now this district. But the quiz competition, everybody is a winner. But say that they go with this person at this school campus, now this school can second, now this school can not. No. What see you do no more? You will represent the school, make sure say you are well. You understand? And you do something well. After that, they give package, they give prize, the banner, the couch and the school, you can hang out for reference. So, not about talk, I can talk. But I'm going to freestyle, but we'll let them for that.
Okay, so I will make Dr. Bulgiwi in the parting word and waiting ones for make fumble and join on with Hope for Youth for do.
My fellow Salonians, friends, listeners, I just want to appeal on behalf of the youths of Sierra Leone. As I stated, and I keep saying this, outside of the youths that will go through slavery in Sierra Leone's history, these are the youths that will have suffered the most. They've gone through, like I said, 10-year civil war, 2 military coups, a mudslide, Ebola, COVID, and economic crisis, and you name it, they've seen it in the last 30 years of their lives. Hope is the essence of life, where they provide the tranquility and peace for coexistence. Without hope, if we leave the youths them to hopelessness, we are telling them to do drugs, we're telling them to do prostitution, we're telling them to seek violence, we're telling them to be dependent on society, we're telling them to do all the evil things that they affect we in general. And you name it as a Sierra Leonean, you understand the crisis and the problems we're going through. And we keep pointing fingers, we keep blaming. And we see ourselves as enemies, and Sierra Leoneans, we're not enemies to ourselves. Our competitors should be Guinea, Liberia, Ivory Coast, Ghana, Nigeria, and Gambia. Our competitors should not be from Gambia or Moyamba or Puja or Bond. We fight ourselves for no good reasons. And we lead the marginalized youths to that battlefield and they end up losing. So what should we do To affect change, you have to be part of the change. And that change is what we seek through Hope for Youth. See, without hope, we can't provide anything tangible for the kids because everything is out of their reach. But Hope for Youth, the assurance, if you look inward and find yourself, you could be innovative and visionary. So Hope itself, the acronym stands for a lot of things. The H in Hope stands for hope itself. It stands for health. It stands for human rights. It stands for humanity. The O stands for opportunities. The P stands for possibilities. The E stands for empathy, education, enterprise. And the message I want to leave with you, if you want to contribute to Hope, it's fine. But you could find your own hope to help somebody. But if you cannot find a way to find hope to give to a Sierra Leonean youth in Sierra Leone, you have two organizations here that you could send your money to, and we would make sure that the youths then get the money and they use it wisely to build themselves. Folks, we have prepared youths in Sierra Leone, and they are ready to transform their lives. And with hope, they would move away from drugs. With hope, they would move away from prostitution. With hope, they will move away from violence. As Ms. Matilda Cole just stated, the $5 you take for buy coffee could transform the life of a youth in Sierra Leone. And collectively, those $5, those £5, those 5 Canadian dollars, they are working miracles right now. In Putloko, where we plant granite, in Moyamba, where we plant cassava and kabala pepper, in Bomb, where we plant plantain, banana, and pineapple, in Cambia, where they plant in kushu and doing other things, in Juba, where they're doing adult education, in Waterloo, where the youths have their own industry to print t-shirts, souvenirs, and all of those things. My appeal to you, don't give up hope, because hope is what makes the difference in Sierra Leone, one youth at a time, one village at a time, one chiefdom at a time, one district, one province, one region, and collectively, together, we'll build the Sierra Leone we all dream of, the new United States of Africa. God bless you.
Yes, together we will build the Sierra Leone we all dream of, the new United States of Africa. It is not impossible, people. I get video then where I get for show now, another show, standing up for another show where they look into with minerals that recently, you know, the new minerals themselves where they don't discover as recent as 3 months ago, minerals galore, but what do we do with it? How have we converted that for help we serve? For help we nation, for put we self and make we self the citadel. How have we done so? Is it too late? Or is there still hope? We're going to peel the onion small. We're going to peel the yaba small till we reach inside. But listen, people, it has been a beautiful 2 hours. I know for say some people are disappointed, but guess what? I don't care. This for me is like the highlights. This type of shows for me are the best shows, not to the one way I they fact check and correct people them on the second, on the go, on the minute. That one is also good and fine, but this is the essence. It's the crux of my being. This is what I live for. So are they ask kuna all, make kuna all join on with we of join on with Hope for Youth Sierra Leone, join on with Melqosh Mission, join on with anybody where you see say want for bring change, genuine change, transformational change when they tag you, change where not they put gegen you throat for make you end up for do the wrong thing later. Anybody will get such vision, one for make una battle the person. One for make una join none with that organization. Like I say, that 1 cup coffee, if you save your coffee over 5 days, it's something. Go to the website, Hope for Youth Sierra Leone. Go to the website, Melqosh Mission International or melqosh.org. Go there. Just donate whatever. Give whatever you can for help the mission. You see, we are building the future leaders. There is a reason why I call this series the Builders Series. Meet the builders. They don't plant the seed. Now we all get to come for water the seed, make it germinate, make it blossom, make it take roots. However long you want for the roots want for spread, it is upon us to do the work. Since you don't talk government, this government, that state, but at the end of the day, what have we as individuals waiting we don't add? For sure a change, for sure the difference, for sure say it can be done another way. Until we meet again next time, where I know for say, I go come with waiting on a want, but today na me day. I don't care when I go give me this. Today na me day, I dey take them by force, cook. As soon as click no more, what did Matilda talk about yesterday? Because I know say some of una na Saturday morning una can wake, some of una na Sunday una can watch. I get all of your messages. I know I don't respond, but I do. Matilda na Sunday na me can watch the program. Na Saturday me can watch you. You know, Matilda, I get it all. And I say thank you. Thank you very much for being here with me, for staying the course with me, and for even go back after and listen and watch the program. But when you watch, and also the other one, then, but this particular one, after you don't watch done, put your hand inside Kotoku and do something. Dip your hand inside pocket. Make something shake. Do ya at the beguna. After you watch this particular one, make something shake. I want to tell Pastor Faith from Melqosh Mission International, thank you. But we take the time for stay up, you know, it's obviously going to 3 a.m. in the morning, I believe, in England. But you know what? We say we not go tire. And this is the reason why we not go tire. I can always put on my Facebook tag, say, we know they tire. And people can say, what do you make you can always say we not go tire? This is the reason. We not go tire. And I want to tell Dr. Bull, thank you for making Winsef take the time to introduce formally, you know, Hope for Youth Sierra Leone to, you know, the VOS family and the world in general, the world at large. I tell Una, thank you for Una. We'll go watch this program later on and decide for partner with either of these organizations. And like I say, for me, Matilda, I'm all in. I'll do it until the day be like, okay, Matilda, I'll go take you retirement now. But that's not going to be soon because I'm still very young. So I want to tell all man, thank you. As usual, Corona is real. Corona the kill. Now make sure you wanna wear una mask them. Now make sure you wanna wash una and now make sure you wanna observe all social distancing protocol. I know for say don't say we all want rub body, but make we not rub body at the detriment of we life. Anything we would defend at this world, make God give we and make it continue for protect and cover we. All side we defend we safe at the world. Until next time, una tata.